Today we are going to look at different data displays to find the median of those data displays. This first one, we are looking at a bar graph. In order for me to find the median or the middle number of this data set, I first need to find the individual pieces of data by analyzing the bar graph. So I know that I'm looking at the number of pages read by Megan during specific months. So I see that in April, based on the height of my bar, she read 90 pages. In May, she read 50 pages. In June, she read 100 pages. And in July, she read 90 pages. I know that in order for me to find the median or the middle number of my data set, I need to first order my numbers from least to greatest, so the smallest number to the largest. When I do this, I see that I have 50, 90, 90, and 100. I know that if I have an even number of pieces of data, like the 4 pieces of data that I have here, I will need to find the mean or the average of the middle 2 numbers. However, luckily for us in this case, both numbers in the middle are the same number. Therefore, the median is 90 pages. Now looking at the second example, it says an adventure tour company found out how many whales people saw on its most popular whale tour. So this line graph is showing us how many whales were spotted on different trips. I know that 1x on my line graph is representing 1 whale. So if I am looking, or the amount of times they saw that whale. So if I am looking at this line graph and I want to create my list of data points, if I start and look at 1 whale spotted and I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's, that means on one of the trips I have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that is my 5 X's that are represented under or above the 1. I will do the same thing with every other number on my line graph. So I see that there are 2 X's above the number 2. 3 X's above the number 2, so I'm going to write 3 2's. I see that there are 10 3's. Whoops. So like me, it's okay if you make a mistake, just double check and slow down. I was trying to do that a little too fast. I see that there are 2 X's above the number 4, so I need to have 4 listed twice in my data set. I see that there are 4 X's above the 5, so I need to have 5, 5, 5, 5. And then I need to see that there is 1 X above the 6, so the last piece of data is a 6. So now, some of you may be thinking, couldn't I just be looking at the X's on my line graph? Yes, you could do that. However, I think it is easy for us to see the actual number laid out while we are getting used to finding the median from a data display. Since I have 25 pieces of data, I know that because there are 25 X's in my line graph, that means I have an odd amount of pieces of data, so I will have one number exactly in the middle. So I need to think to myself, what number would be in the middle? How many pieces of data would be in the middle of 25 pieces of data? I know that if I want to find something in the middle, and I have even numbers on either side of my median, I know that numbers near 25 are 24, and if I were to split 24 in half, I would get 12. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, and I think that's my median, I can double check because there should be 12 pieces of data to the right of my median. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I have 12 to the left and 12 to the right, that's 24, and then my median is my 25th piece of data. So the median of this data set is 3. Similar to a line graph or a line plot, a frequency table, like we see here, is going to tell me the data, how many times that piece of data occurs in the data set, and to make sure that we know how many tallies we see, we write that frequency in the right-hand column. So, for example, looking at that first column, I see that I'm looking at the quiz score. So let's say I gave you guys a quiz, which I did last week, but let's say that quiz was out of 5 points. And I want to ask myself, okay, in one of my travel groups, how many students received a score of 1? When I look at the data, it says that 3 students received a score of 1. So that means the frequency is 3. 3 students received a score of 1. So if I am writing my data, I'm going to have the number 1 written 3 times in my data set. So when I look at how many students scored a 2, I see that there are 5 tally marks. My frequency is 5. So I need to have the number 2 written 5 times in my data set. I will do this for the rest of them as well. So 3 has a frequency of 1. 4 has a frequency of 4. And then 5 has a frequency of 2. So now I already have these in order because my frequency table listed my scores in order from least to greatest. So now I want to ask myself, how many pieces of data are presented here? 15 pieces of data are here. If I have an odd number of pieces of data, such as 15, that means there's going to be one specific number that is directly in the middle of this data set. So again, I'm going to ask myself, what even number is around 15? I know that 14 is near 15. So if I have 14 pieces of data and I split that in the middle, that would mean 7 pieces is the bottom half and 7 pieces are on the upper half. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of data from the left, and I count 7 pieces of data from the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I am left with 1 piece of data directly in the middle. So the median of this data set is 2. Lastly, I can look at a simple table that is showing a data display. I can look and see a data set in this table where it says a farmer wrote down how many kilograms of cherries were sold in the past 5 days. So we see that it's talking about cherries sold, and then we have these pieces of data. It asks us what is the median of the numbers. So the first thing I need to do is order them from least to greatest. Luckily for us, we just look at the bottom of the table and it's already listed in order for us. So then I ask myself how many pieces of data are presented. I see that there are 5 pieces of data. That is an odd number. If there is an odd number of pieces of data, there is going to just be one number directly in the middle. So if I move 2 spaces from the left and 2 spaces from the right, I see that I have one number directly in the middle. So the median of this data is 8.